The Tipping Point with Mike Tipton is brought to you by Dubby. What is Dubby? Dubby is a clean energy drink that is made to give you focus with no crash, jitters, or angst like those other energy drinks have. They also have no maltodextrin fillers and don't use artificial dyes. Dubby contains vitamins, amino acids, a nootropic, and 150 milligrams of caffeine. W's products are made in the USA in an FDA-inspected facility that strictly adheres to GMP manufacturing guidelines. All of the flavors are unique and custom-made by W, and you'll never taste our taste anywhere else. The best part about it is they're affordable. W's drinks come out to about $1 per drink, much cheaper than Starbucks or any of those canned energy drinks. To learn more, visit w.gg.com/discount/MRTipton33 and place your order today. Use promo code MrTipton33 and save today. W Energy, be better. What's going on, everybody? I want to tell you about my new friends over at Cleverman. Visit them online at becleverman.com. What they gave me was the energizing face and beard scrub along with the Cleverman face scrubber. And trust me when I say this, the energizing face and beard scrub smells amazing. Combining it with the face scrubber, making sure that your boy was looking as good and sexy as possible, opened up a whole different sensation in my face that I haven't ever felt before. I felt so clean, so fresh, and so clean, like Outcast said, and it helped me feel like I was ready for my day. Make sure you visit them online at becleverman.com and follow them on Instagram at clevermannyc. The link is up in my bio if you want to check out all the amazing products they have. Visit them online, becleverman.com. This is Mike Tipton from Tipton Sports Broadcasting, inviting you to join us on Tuesday, June 10th at Buffalo Wild Wings, 655 Sunland Park Drive on the west side of El Paso for all-you-can-eat wings. As a big fat guy, you know I'm going to be stuffing my face, so why not join me and Brandon the Iceman Cone for all-you-can-eat wings? Be sure to tune in to Fire and Ice every Saturday as we talk sports or anything else that might come to mind. At B-Dubs, enjoy the $4 house beer Wild Herd, $5 Bud Lights, and $6 Voodoo Rangers. And take advantage of their $4 Fireball shots.
Fireball.
Happy hour is Monday through Friday from 3 to 6 p.m. Be sure to try the delicious new sandwiches like the beer cheese cheesesteak and chicken parm melt. Plus, all-you-can-eat wings Monday through Thursday until June 26th. $24.99 for bone-in wings, $19.99 for boneless wings, and the fries are included. All you can eat bone-in and boneless wings Monday through Thursday, and Fire and Ice every Saturday at Buffalo Wild Wings, 655 Sunland Park Drive. What's going on, everybody? It's the Tipping Point with Mike Tipton. We are live on this Monday morning. It's rainy in El Paso for the first time since February, it feels like, and probably that's not even an exaggeration. That's more than likely the truth. The first time that it's rained here in El Paso in quite some time. We are live on Facebook, on Roku, via National Streaming Sports, on LinkedIn, on YouTube, and of course over on Instagram as well. Thank you all so much for tuning into today's show. You miss any part of the show, remember you can always get the podcast wherever you get podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Google, whatever it is, Spotify, all the places that you can go out and get your podcasts. Okay. A lot going on in the world of sports this weekend. And where I wanted to start off at is with the complete ineptitude of the Colorado Rockies. And I don't like in the middle of the season calling a team absolutely terrible, the worst team in baseball, the worst team in the history of the sport. But the Colorado Rockies are exactly that. 59 games into the season. That means they still got 103 more games to go. 59 games into the season. The Colorado Rockies have a record of 50-9. Scratch that. 9-50. They've lost 50 games in a 59-game span. That is the worst start in Major League Baseball, going all the way back to 1886. 1889, the Cleveland Spiders 10-5. 1904, the Washington Senators 10-45-3. Somehow there were 3 ties in baseball games. 1886, the Washington Nationals 10-45-1. And then you have the Louisville Colonels from 1886 that were 10-49. 10-49 through that 59-game span. You have to go all the way back 239 or 139 years. You have to go all the way back to the Louisville Colonels in 1886 to get a worse record or a similar record to that of what the Colorado Rockies are doing right now. All the way back to 1886 with the Louisville Colonels going 10-49. Want to give a shout out to my dude, Stephen Michael Puga, who tuned in over on the Facebook page. Thank you so much, my guy. Mama Bear tuning in over on Instagram. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. Remember, we are live every day, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. here on the Tipping Point with Mike Tipton. My guy, Tommy Carranza, tuning in saying, good morning, Tip. Good morning to you, Tommy. We are talking about the complete ineptitude of the Colorado Rockies. 9-59 on the season. Tommy Carranza saying it's a beautiful day here in the 915. It is. I actually had to walk outside with an umbrella. Yes, I have an umbrella. One of the rare people in El Paso that has an umbrella. Whatever, joining in over on Instagram as well. Thank you so much for being a part of today's show. The Colorado Rockies 9-50 on the season. 9-50 on the season. I want to give a shout out to my dude, Stephen Michael Puga, who I see is tuned in right now. He had a comedy show, Gold's Comedy, over at Vitola's Cigar Lounge, downtown El Paso. I need to get out there and check that out one of these days. They do it, it seems like every month, maybe a couple times a month. Puga, if you can give me some information on it, I would greatly appreciate it. When's the next one going to be? So that way we can start getting some of the Tipping Point people on out there to watch the comedy show that y'all put up over at Vitola's downtown. My guy Bistrilla saying, howdy, Tip. Not used to seeing Bistrilla on Facebook, so that was awesome to see him over there on the Facebook page. Shout out to you. Hope that you're having yourself a fantastic day. It's actually raining here in El Paso. It rained last night. I might be exaggerating, but I might also not be exaggerating that it's the first time it's rained in El Paso since February. I want to say maybe in March, but I'm pretty sure it's February. And there's a part of me that's also leaning into the fact that it might be the first time it's rained in El Paso since January. We've gone almost half a year without getting rain in El Paso, and we finally got it. Yeah, whatever, saying El Paso's original meat slinger. That is 100% correct. We're slinging that meat, baby. It's what we do here on the Tipping Point with Mike Tipton. Stephen Michael Puga saying, thanks for the shout out. The next show is June 27th at Vitola's, but at least you can see the Rockies game for $10 probably. We're talking about the Colorado Rockies and how bad they have to be. Again, their record right now, 9-50. The worst span of 60 games in the history of Major League Baseball. Worse than the 1886 Louisville Colonels, who went 10-49. Worse than the 1904 Washington Senators, who went 10-45-3. The 1886 Washington Nationals, who went 10-45-1. And the 1899 Cleveland Spiders, who went 10-45. The Colorado Rockies are the worst thing in baseball since before the 1900s. And I say that as someone who got told a lot by former students of mine, oh my goodness, you were born in the late 1900s because I was born in 1984. the Colorado Rockies are absolute dog shit. We'll just put it out there and say it. Sorry, Roku, but the Colorado Rockies are absolute dog shit. Sometimes you got to call a spade, and the Colorado Rockies are exactly that. Absolute dog shit. Said it 3 times in 1 minute. Maybe I'll get kicked off. Who knows? Augustine is going on to say this is where sports, we know. This is where we know that sports are going to get boring. We're talking baseball. But that's the thing, Augustine, is yes, we're talking baseball. And I'm cool with talking baseball. I love me some baseball. You already know that. I love me some baseball. But what we're watching right now is what I want to happen. As I see Mireya Reyes tuning into the show over on Facebook as well. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. Hope that y'all had a great time at your fashion show yesterday. I am here for just injecting into my veins a horrible-ass team. A terrible, garbage-ass team. The Oscar the Grouch team of the Colorado Rockies going on and doing what they're projected to do right now, which is win 100 or which is lose 137 games. Going on to win 25 games right now. You guys already know my mindset here. If you're going to lose, lose historic. Tommy Canazzo saying, I'd rather talk baseball than soccer. That's for damn sure. That's for damn sure, baby. Tommy Canazzo continuing to his crusade, his anti-soccer crusade. I was going to say a joke. I started choking on my own damn coffee. That's how you know I got to take this show more seriously. Jesus Christ, I was about to die, guys. Now I wish I remember what the hell the joke was, so that way everyone else could laugh along with me. Oh, no. Instead, I started to die and I lost the joke. It'll come back. It'll come back to me. Augustine Pimentel saying, oh, there were some big things going on in soccer this weekend. Yes, PSG beating INT and a whole bunch of craziness as Paris Saint-Germain gets their win. And just fan bases. This is what I do love about soccer is the fan base. The fan base in soccer is going to go absolutely wild, man. And hearing that 2 people died, hundreds of people were hospitalized because PSG wins themselves a championship, I'm about. Like, I love that type of passion. Unless it's dumbass Philadelphia Eagles fans, in which case I'm not a big fan of. But I love the passion. Absolutely love the passion. Augustine saying Champions League, Champions PSG, and LAFC going to the Club World Cup. That is right. I didn't know about LAFC, but that's cool to see that LAFC, Los Angeles Football Club, is going to be going over to the Club World Cup. That's going to be interesting to watch. Augustine, if you can give me some information on that, I'll be down for that. I got a bunch of emails because, as y'all know, I'm trying to get on, or not trying to get on, but I am a credentialed media member of the United States Soccer, like the national team. I did see the women's national game, this nationals team play this weekend as well, defeating China 3-0. The U.S. came out and just dominated that game early on and then just kind of sat back and played with their food a little bit. It was also cool to see, I got to get the woman's name, but they had a 32-year-old rookie making her debut with the U.S. national team. And that was awesome to see. There we go. Lola La Bonta made her U.S. women's national team debut on the 31st, becoming the oldest player to debut with the team at 32 years old and 74 days. She appeared in the match against China when the U.S. nationals team won 3-0. Alyssa Thompson also made her debut on October 7th, 2022 against England, becoming the youngest player to debut since 2016. That was cool to watch. I actually watched the whole game. Believe it or not, Augustine, I watched the entire game. The women's national team beating China, beating the brakes off of China. Couldn't tell you anything that was going on, but it was fun. Tommy Cananza saying, back to the Rockies sucking, please. For the love of God, no more soccer. We've spoken enough about soccer here on this show. I remember during the pandemic, whenever all we had was the Korean Baseball League, and I was leading El Paso and more than likely the United States, well, outside of ESPN, in coverage of the Korean Baseball Organization. I feel like that's what I want to do with like some lame soccer league now, where we just become diehard fans of some terrible, terrible soccer league that's out there. Because if that's what we were doing for the Korean Baseball Organization, then I can imagine we can have ourselves some fun with some pretty terrible soccer teams as well. Nonetheless, we're out here having ourselves a good old time. The tipping point with my Tipton, the Colorado Rockies on pace right now to win 25 games, to be the worst team in the history of baseball. And this is coming off the heels of the Chicago White Sox tying the record last season for being the worst team in baseball history. So we're going back-to-back seasons now of just two absolutely horrible baseball teams that are out there, while we watch the Dodgers be completely dominant, clapping the Yankees the way that they did this past weekend. Yes, I know the Yankees won yesterday. Friday, the Yankees lost 8-5 after having a 5-1 run lead. Then they get clapped 18-2. Aaron Judge, the only offense the Yankees had in that game on Saturday. And then yesterday, the Yankees get themselves a win 7-2. Good for them. The Dodgers win the series, right? You see the teams that are good. This is like baseball is showing you absolutely and unequivocally the haves and the have-nots. How the teams that have a ton of money are going to be able to spend that money and have the best talent on it. Where now you have a possibility of a couple of teams out there setting records for the most wins that they can have in a season, while simultaneously having a team out there that in back-to-back seasons can set a record for being the most inept team in baseball history. And I am here for it. Well, like, obviously, if that's what baseball is going to become, if baseball is all about just home runs and strikeouts, if that's what baseball is, because now it's super boring to watch. If baseball is going to lean into this, then you give me, and I'll be here cheering, hating every single time the Colorado Rockies win. They need to just lose and set an unprecedented record of being the most inept team in the history of baseball. I am here for it. I want that out of the Colorado Rockies. If you're going to lose, lose historic. Get in the record books. And that's exactly what I want to see. Shout out to my former Chief Master Sergeant Sims, tuning in over on LinkedIn. Thank you all so much for being a part of today's show as we talk about the Colorado Rockies, how bad they are, everything going on in the world of baseball. Look at that. Augustine Pimentel saying the Colorado Rockies are the Dallas Cowboys. They're the exact same team. No, they're not. No, they're not. Come on, man. I get that you're hating. And that's always going to be the Augustine hater voice from now on. The Dallas Cowboys suck. That's going to be the Augustine hater voice from now on. Anytime I read any of your hateful ass comments that are not true, that will be the voice that comes out. The Cowboys might be bad this year. They're not as bad as the Colorado Rockies. There won't be 162 games where you get to see how bad the Dallas Cowboys are versus the Colorado Rockies. I saw the statistic yesterday that since the beginning of the Major League Baseball season on March 28th, the Colorado Rockies have won 9 games. The Denver Nuggets have won 11, and they haven't played in 2 weeks. Tommy Canazzo saying Augustine is Richard Simmons. They're the exact same person. I can see it. Didn't Richard Simmons die? Am I wrong? Did Richard Simmons die? I feel like he did. Maybe I'm right. Maybe I'm wrong in this. We'll see how it's going over there. I'm trying to read your comment, Chief, but it didn't come over on the Instagram or on the feed that I have here. I just saw that you tuned in over on through a couple of things of mine. I can't see the comment, but I'll get to that comment a little bit later. I don't understand this, Augustine. Get a deal, a meal. Get a deal, a meal. I'm trying to figure that out. And Tommy Cananza saying, I have no idea. We're questioning whether or not Richard Simmons is still alive. Shout out to Evan George Vahurius, who tuned in over on Instagram. Your friendly neighborhood bartender who tuned in over on Instagram, and the Copperstone, Annette Copperstone, who tuned in over on Instagram as well. Thank you all so much for being a part of the show over there on the Instagram feed. Okay. Deal a meal is from Richard Simmons. LOL. Okay, well, I have no clue. I apologize for my knowledge of Richard Simmons quotes lacking. I'll be better. I promise. I'm already 100% better now, knowing that deal a meal is apparently a quote from Richard Simmons. We're learning and growing here on the Tipping Point with Mike Tipton. It's what we do. We learn and we grow. Teams that aren't learning, teams that aren't growing, the Pittsburgh Steelers, they are in trouble. They are in a lot of trouble, the Pittsburgh Steelers are. Shout out to Valerie Estrada, who tuned in over on Facebook. Nash Rudo, who tuned over in on Instagram as well. Thank you all so much for tuning into the show. The Pittsburgh Steelers are in trouble. We spoke last week about how it seems like they're not going to be able to get Aaron Rodgers. And as they get closer and closer into OTAs, what are they going to do to make this team better? And you kind of saw over, it was either Friday or Saturday, that the Pittsburgh Steelers are talking to the Miami Dolphins about possibly trading for Jonnu Smith to try to make their team a little bit better on the offensive end. Which is so strange to me. You trade George Pickens, but you want to sign a top-tier tight end while you have Freiermuth there. It's weird what's going on with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And the whole time, we're watching them wait on Aaron Rodgers. And this isn't going to be talking about Aaron Rodgers anymore. We're moving on. We're moving past that. But that is a part of where they are right now. Waiting on Aaron Rodgers to sign to figure out whether or not he's going to be a part of your team. It handcuffed your team up until now. So now it's, okay, are you going to trade for Kirk Cousins? What assets, after you make this trade for Jonnu Smith, are you going to be able to have to trade to get Kirk Cousins? Now, Kirk Cousins isn't going to demand a first-round, second-round, third-round pick. I think you could probably get Kirk Cousins for a fourth-round pick, maybe a third-round pick. Maybe a third-round pick. Augustine sending me messages on WhatsApp of what a meal is from Richard Simmons. I had a neighbor in the Air Force whose name was Richard Simmons. Sergeant Richard Simmons. I would have changed my name. Because you and it's nothing to do with hating on who Richard Simmons is. It has everything to do with you're never going to be the most famous Richard Simmons now, right? Like, no matter what you do in your life, you will never be the most famous. Like that there's a kid out there named Michael Jordan. Change your name. You're never going to live up to that expectation of Michael Jordan. That there's another kid out there named Troy Aikman. Change your name. You'll never be Troy Aikman. And there's another person out there named Michael Tipton, which is weird because there's three of them. There's three of us out there. There's one that follows me on LinkedIn, and then one that keeps stalking my page on TikTok. It tells me who looks at my page on TikTok. I know you're out there. Other Michael Tipton. Change your name. You're not me. Augustine saying change it to Ricardo Simon. That sounds like a baseball player from the 90s. Ricardo Simon hits a slap, and not even a power hitter. He's just like an opposite field slap hitter getting to first and second base. That's who Ricardo Simon is. Tommy Canazza saying that he heard the Dolphins were getting ready to trade Ramsey back to L.A., and that's the other side of this coin. We'll get back to the Dolphins here in just a second. But if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers, are you going to trade for Kirk Cousins? Like OTA is right around the corner. Training camp right around the corner. You have to get some sort of continuity here with your team. Are you really going to ride with Mason Rudolph as your starting quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers franchise? And that for me is a difficult one to try to comprehend, to try to think that this is what we've got to do, is that we're going to ride with Mason Rudolph. And I have to think about it like this, right? Because I think we're stuck in this mindset of the Pittsburgh Steelers being a winning franchise, being a franchise that we always know is going to be on the cusp of playoff success. Even if you sign Aaron Rodgers, even if you sign Kirk Cousins, what's the ceiling for the team? Like win-loss wise, what's the ceiling for the team? Is it going to be 10 wins, 11 wins, 12 wins? Can you see the Pittsburgh Steelers, the way that they're currently constructed, being a 10-win possible playoff team, even with Aaron Rodgers? And the answer to me is no. I can't see it that way. Maybe if you trade for Jonnu Smith, maybe if you have another wide receiver too that you think is out there that could be good enough, maybe there's something there. What's the ceiling with Mason Rudolph? Is it still that same 10 wins? Because I think the Pittsburgh Steelers are finishing anywhere between 7 and 9 wins. They're going to be in that purgatory that we keep talking about with the Dallas Cowboys. Always between 7 wins and 9 wins. If I'm the Pittsburgh Steelers, I embrace a full rebuild, which means I trade away all the talent that I have to try to get draft capital, to try to get expiring contracts, things of that nature. This is going to be Mike Tomlin's last season. Without a shadow of a doubt. It's going to be Mike Tomlin's last season. Thank you for the follow. I see that I got a new follower over on Instagram, 2989. Thank you so much for following us here. That brings me up to like 6,300 on Instagram now. If you're not following me on Instagram, what are you doing? The Pittsburgh Steelers are in a ton of trouble. And I think that it's now time for that team to trade away TJ Watt. I know you just got DK Metcalf. I'd find a way to trade him too. You have nothing that you're going to be playing for. The best case scenario, you're the third best team in your division. You're a fringe playoff team, and you're stuck in purgatory. You're not good enough to win a championship. You're not bad enough to get top talent in the NBA and the NFL draft. You screwed up your NFL draft because there's rumblings that Will Howard, a 6th-round draft pick, is more than likely going to get starting time for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Like it's a battle between Mason Rudolph and Will Howard, who you drafted in the 6th round. Which means if you have a 6th-round quarterback that might start for you without injury being a major reason as to why, it means you screwed up your draft. Because you could have drafted anybody prior to then. All the talk of maybe you should have gotten Shedeur Sanders, maybe you could have gotten just anybody, any quarterback before Will Howard. And instead, the Pittsburgh Steelers now are in a ton of trouble. And that's exactly it. That's exactly what it comes down to, Tommy. You are going to be so bad with DK Metcalf, who you just traded for, that your pick, your draft capital right now, is going to be going over to the Seattle Seahawks. It's a dumbass. It reminds me of the Miami Heat. It reminds me 100% of the Miami Heat, what we were talking about with that team as we were getting into the playoffs. Even if the Miami Heat had tanked and got a top 10 draft pick because of how bad it's been, that top 10 draft pick would have been traded over to the Oklahoma City Thunder because the Miami Heat are just that damn bad. Something, though, that's not that bad, it's actually really good. It's just the tip. This is Mike Tipton from Tipton Sports Broadcast.
I just want to put the tip in.
It's time for
Just a Tip.
That would make me uncomfortable.
Promise that it ain't too much, but just enough. Just a tip. Just a tip.
Just the tip. Just the tip.
It's time for Just the Tip.
Just the Tip is brought to you by our friends over at www.myhappynuts.com. That's myhappynuts.com. Use promo code Mike Tipton at checkout and save on all your male grooming needs. I am super excited because I will be getting the full body deodorant. I am looking forward to trying this out. It just got shipped out to me. I should be getting it today, so I'll be trying out. We'll have a new commercial for www.myhappynuts.com for the full body deodorant. Guys, take care of yourself this summer. Make sure you're not all swampy. Make sure you ain't got none of the duck butter. Make sure that person that you love is getting the best version of you with all the male grooming needs that you have. Go to www.myhappynuts.com and use promo code Mike Tipton and save at checkout. Big fat fingers hit the wrong button, guys. Can you believe that? Can you believe that? Augustine saying, no, not a demo commercial, please. There was a skit on Saturday Night Live where they're like, oh, no, don't tie me up. Don't do it to me. Please don't do it to me, even though I'm a hot chick. That's kind of what I feel right there, where Augustine's like, don't do a demo video, but please do a demo video. I think that's a route that we're going to be going from now on, Augustine. Anytime you put something that you don't want, I feel like you do want it. And it's not even a secret that you want it, brother. You want it 100%, brother. Tommy can also saying there's no more school tip. We're good. We're good. I got one more week. My kids got one more week. Early release on Friday. I'm looking forward to it. I can only imagine how they're going to feel in the middle of the summertime. I don't think my kids have really been home for that stuff going on. Like, I got some speakers here in the studio. Y'all can't hear the feedback or anything like that, but it's for me to be able to listen to the show, right? And I can only imagine my kids are asleep in the room down the hall. They can hear the disembodied voice of me talking. And then at 8:30 it hits.
I just want to put the tip in.
Could you imagine? That's what you wake up to.
I just want to put the tip in.
It's time.
As a grown adult, that would be a GD nightmare. So now I got to figure out a way to I guess turn the volume down, turn myself down. Or maybe we move the show. I don't think we can move the show, though, because of our obligation to National Streaming Sports. Shout out to our friends over at National Streaming Sports. Okay. So we spoke about the Pittsburgh Steelers, and on the other side of that coin are the Miami Dolphins. And the Miami Dolphins have been rumored to be trading Jalen Ramsey. Like they're seeking trade partners for Jalen Ramsey. Are they going to trade Jonnu Smith, who's really been, I want to say that's their certifiable number 2 option. Over the last year, he might have been the number 1 option for them, but definitely the number 2 option for them. Then you got the issues with Tyreek Hill saying, I want to prove to the Miami Dolphins and the fan base of why I'm still the number 1 wide receiver on this team. Tua's health, that's always going to be a question, right? It looks like he's always one hit away from it being a complete catastrophe when it comes down to Tua Tagovailoa. What's their running game going to look like this year now that they no longer have Mostert there? Devon Achane has to be the guy. How's it going to be for the Miami Dolphins? And you got to look at the division, right? Just like we were talking about with the Pittsburgh Steelers. The best case scenario for the Pittsburgh Steelers is you're the 3rd best team in that division. You're behind Cincinnati, who I all think we can say Cincinnati had a bad year last year, just snake bitten. And you're 100% behind the Baltimore Ravens. Just like Pittsburgh, Miami is best case scenario, second best team in that division. The Patriots are going to be better. Yes, Augustine's Patriots are going to be better. The Jets are probably going to take a step back. They can't be much worse than what they were last year. And then the cream of the crop is obviously the Buffalo Bills. Are the Miami Dolphins in the same boat with the Buffalo Bills? And the answer to that question is unequivocally no. They're just not. They're nowhere near the caliber of team that the Buffalo Bills are. The Miami Dolphins are, again, to me, the window for them opened up, and it's real little now. The sun's coming out. Tommy Canonta saying absolutely not. The Miami Dolphins not even in that same conversation with the Buffalo Bills. Shout out to Ashley Candelaria, who tuned in over on Instagram. Jeremy J. Funk, who tuned in over on Instagram as well. Thank you all so much for tuning into the show here on Instagram. All the various places we are on. We are on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, National Stream of Sports, LinkedIn. We're all over the place. We're too many places right now. If you can, please subscribe to the YouTube channel at Mr. Tipton 33. All my social media stuff at Mr. Tipton 33. Okay. The Miami Dolphins, not in a good spot right now. Tommy Canonsa saying exactly what I'm thinking right now. Best case scenario, they're a wild card team. But I don't know if I necessarily believe that, because I still think that the AFC West is the best division in the AFC. And I think you're going to get 3 playoff teams from the AFC West. I think Denver, and I think the Chargers. I was going to say San Diego Superchargers. It's a thing between Brandon the Iceman Cone and I. San Diego Superchargers. They need to move back to San Diego, damn it. But I think the Chargers are a slightly better team than that of the Miami Dolphins. The AFC North, the other wild card team is going to be either Cincinnati or Baltimore. Flatly. That's how it's going to be. It's going to be those types of teams. Maybe, just maybe, the Dolphins are fighting against the Chargers at the end of the season. But to be the last wild card team isn't the place that the Dolphins wanted to be at whenever they brought in Tyreek Hill, whenever they did all these things to try to make this team, who we thought a couple of years ago with that high-powered offense, scoring 70 points against the Denver Broncos, we thought that this was going to be the team that was going to make some sort of a run, right? We didn't think that the Bills were going to be as good as the Bills have been for this extended period of time, especially them getting rid of Stephon Diggs, especially them getting rid of Gabe Davis, not having the wide receiver core that we thought that they needed, Josh Allen proving that he is the quarterback that makes wide receivers better as well. The Miami Dolphins are in trouble. And as I look around the landscape of the AFC, I sit here and I say to myself, this is the best division, the best conference in football, hands down. Kansas City is still going to be considered the cream of the crop. Baltimore, still going to be considered the cream of the crop. Then Buffalo, still going to be considered the cream of the crop. And then you have the AFC South. Whoever wins that division, we're going with the Jacksonville Jaguars. This show, for the remainder of the season, I want buy-in from everybody out there. We can love whatever our primary team is. For Mireya, it's going to be the Packers. For me and Tommy, it's going to be the Cowboys. For Augustine, it's going to be his Patriots. We can love, for Puga, it's going to be his Eagles. We can love our team. But I want all of us, because they've been good to me, to be good to the Jacksonville Jaguars as well. That's going to be our secondary team this year. We want the Jacksonville Jaguars to win their division. It's not a tough division to win. I'm not trusting Houston anymore. I'm not trusting Tennessee. I'm not trusting the Indianapolis Colts. I'm putting all my faith in the Jacksonville Jaguars. And I'm hoping that you guys, the supporters of stuff that I do, will be willing to do that as well. We'll be a Cowboys/Jaguars show over here. How dumb would that be? You're talking about setting myself up for just heartbreak and failure all the time. But it could be worse. I could be a Cleveland Browns guy. They used to be the team that I wanted to see have success, but ever since Deshaun Watson, I just want to see them suffer as much as physically possible. I think that they're doing that to themselves. We spoke about them, the Cleveland Browns, last week. The quarterback room that they have, 5 quarterbacks there. Kenny Pickett, Joe Flacco, Deshaun Watson, Dylan Gabriel, Shedeur Sanders. You're only going to have 3. And I think it's going to wind up being Kenny Pickett, Shedeur Sanders, and Dylan Gabriel. I think those are going to be the 3 quarterbacks that the Cleveland Browns ride with for the whole season. I don't think I don't find the need of having Joe Flacco there. Right? Like you're not going to be a competitive team there. Maybe you're fighting with Pittsburgh to see who's at the bottom of the barrel. Maybe the Browns, best case scenario, they can be the 3rd best team in that division. But again, nothing there to really be playing for. Nothing there to really put money into Joe Flacco, who's at the end of his career and should be chasing another ring right now. You go with Kenny Pickett. You go with Shedeur Sanders. You go with Dylan Gabriel. That's what I think the Cleveland Browns should do. I think what we're going to start doing as OTAs get ready is we're going to start doing just a division by division preview, I guess, kind of like what we did before we got to the draft. We went division by division. This is what team needs while we were doing that over free agency. I think we'll do that with the divisions as we get closer to the beginning of the season. Pittsburgh, Miami, Cleveland, even the entire AFC South are all the Spider-Man meme pointing at each other saying, we're in trouble. The Pittsburgh Steelers are the only team there. I guess the Browns as well are the only teams there that really did it to themselves because they didn't know what the hell they wanted to do at quarterback. That's what happened to the Cleveland Browns. You signed Deshaun Watson with all the issues they had. And that's exactly what happens with you. Shout out to Brother Where Art Thou 123 over on Instagram. Tuning into the show. Great name. The Pittsburgh Steelers waiting so long to find out what's going to happen with Aaron Rodgers. You drafted badly. You could have drafted a quarterback before you got to Will Howard in the 6th round. Tommy Cananza saying we're a little over 2 months from kickoff, Mike. We're almost there. We're almost there, Tommy. I think what I'll do as we get closer to kickoff too is I'll have some of my friends who are associated with NFL teams come on, and we can talk about some of the NFL teams. My guy Jason Fitz, huge Raider fan. I know we got a huge Raider fan base here in El Paso, Texas, so we might have him come on. I might have Tommy come on the show, actually make his debut on the show talking to me about the Dallas Cowboys. And I know, Tommy, we're thinking about doing a Cowboys show. I'll talk to you about this one, but I want to do kind of like a recap show, what I did a couple of years ago with my guy, Sergio Robali. R.I.P., my boy. Got nothing but love for you. Where we bring back, we just recap right after the game. It was called Third and Long, or 3 and Out is actually what I called the show. So we might be bringing back 3 and Out. Tommy Cananza saying he's down. Let's do it. We could even have Augustine come on and give us the anti-Cowboys talk. I see that my battery is about to die, and I have no idea what the hell is happening here. So I got to hurry up and try to end the show. It's only going to be a 50-minute show, guys, because I don't know what's going on with that battery. It was just charging. Oh, no. Let's see how long it goes before we have to kick it out here. Okay. I want to do a real quick NBA Finals preview. We have the Oklahoma City Thunder taking on the Indiana Pacers. The games are not going to tip off until Thursday night. So we've got all week to do this. And I know that as we get further on in the week, I'm going to get further and further away from wanting to talk about the NBA Finals because it's the NBA Finals, and I think that this was a nightmare scenario for the NBA. No more Knicks, no big markets in this anymore. You have number 22 and number 27 as far as markets playing against each other, and I think that the national spotlight for this NBA Finals has basically evaporated away. But you do have two of the best teams in this NBA Finals. The Indiana Pacers from January were the best team in basketball. Yes, better than the Oklahoma City Thunder, who are the best team in basketball for the entire season. But since January, the Indiana Pacers really did set the pace, you see what I did there, as the best team in the NBA at that point in time. I feel like it's not going to be a fun series, though. I feel like Oklahoma City has been so dominant that there's no way in hell, none, that this series is going to be a long series. I don't see it going past 5 games. And that's just because Oklahoma City has the MVP, they have the best defense in the league, and they have a phenomenal offense as well. That's not taking anything away from Tyrese Halliburton and them boys. They worked their ass off. They did everything that they needed to do. I just don't think they have the defensive presence to even bother Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City is so much better than every other team in the NBA that it just feels like it's divine destiny right now, that it's their right to win the NBA championship. That's their God-given right for them to be hoisting up the Larry O'Brien trophy at the end of this season. I'm with you on this one, Tommy. There's a part of me that says I'd love to see the story of the Pacers winning. I would love to see that story. I have fallen in love with the characters on that team. But I also I have to think of it from a logical standpoint, and it really is Oklahoma City's to lose and to win. Like, you beat 18.5 points a game, 20 points a game. As my camera's going out on me. You beat the defending champion, or not defending champion, but just a couple of years ago. You beat the Denver Nuggets, who won the championship just a couple of years ago. And then you beat the Minnesota Timberwolves. You beat the brakes off the Minnesota Timberwolves by 18.5 points. They're just overwhelming. That's what they are. They're an overwhelming team. And it feels like it's going to continue to be that way. All right, everybody, because you can see my battery is about to die, I want to make sure I get this charged, and I don't want to lose any of my visual stuff here because I won't be able to change out cameras in a quick enough time to do what I got to do. But I want to thank you all so much for being a part of today's show. Remember, on June 10th, I will be live, or we'll be hanging out at Buffalo Wild Wings, 655 Sunland Park Drive. And then on June 14th, I'll be at the Soggy Peso as I am the MC. Once again, my third time in a row that I get to be the MC for the Brew Battle Pillow Fight, brought to you by our friends, the Buzzed Podcast, formerly known as Words on Fire Podcast. We are going to be out there on June 14th, for the pillow fights. I hope to see you out there at the Soggy Peso. And, of course, I hope to see you all out at Buffalo Wild Wings for all-you-can-eat wings with myself, Brandon the Iceman Cone, and Augustine Pimentel. We'll see you all tomorrow, everybody. This is Mike Tipton from Tipton Sports Broadcasting, inviting you to join us on Tuesday, June 10th at Buffalo Wild Wings, 655 Sunland Park Drive on the west side of El Paso for all-you-can-eat wings. As a big fat guy, you know I'm going to be stuffing my face, so why not join me and Brandon the Iceman Cone for all-you-can-eat wings? Be sure to tune in to Fire and Ice every Saturday as we talk sports or anything else that might come to mind. At B-Dubs, enjoy the $4 house beer Wild Herd, $5 Bud Lights, and $6 Voodoo Rangers. And take advantage of their $4 Fireball shots.
Fireball.
Happy hour is Monday through Friday from 3 to 6 p.m. Be sure to try the delicious new sandwiches like the beer cheese cheesesteak and chicken parm melt. Plus, all-you-can-eat wings Monday through Thursday until June 26th. $24.99 for bone-in wings, $19.99 for boneless wings, and the fries are included. All you can eat bone-in and boneless wings Monday through Thursday, and Fire and Ice every Saturday at Buffalo Wild Wings, 655 Sunland Park Drive.